What's up? What's up, everyone? Well, usually I put up a quote, and then at some point I come on here and I talk about what I meant by that quote. Recently I put up a post. It was a picture of me and Buddy Latham, or one of my longtime and extremely important friends. And the reason I put that post up was because last night there was a scheduled reunion for the gym that we all started at. I personally started in my basement lifting weights when I was 9. Without getting into it, as I have many times before, from the age of 9 till the age of 18, I spent hours upon hours in my basement, every chance I could get, lifting weights, experimenting with different ideas. I mean, yes, even back then, I was extremely excessive compulsive, trying to come up with different ideas and so on and so forth. But at some point, I wanted to move to another level. I wanted to advance myself, push myself even further. I was only 18, but for 9 years, I pretty much gave a serious amount of effort to bettering myself. And, I took myself to the point where I needed to go a little further. So I sold all my weights, all the bars and dumbbells and attachments and so on that I had purchased myself throughout the years to a close friend of mine, and I joined my first gym. And as I said in that particular post, that it was in the middle of the surrounding town that I lived in, and it was in an old mill building, and it was hardcore. It was my first experience training in a real gym. We all knew of other gyms in the area that were hard. I don't want to use the term hardcore, but serious would be a better word. It was, not like now, where all gyms, with the exception of a very few, are fluff and buff. It's just cardio classes. It's become pathetic. There are some serious, really good places out there, and I'm not going to go into detail of those particular places, because this particular story is about IronWorks Gym. It originally started as Steelworks Gym in Lawrence, Massachusetts. It was in an old mill building. You had to literally, you walk up to the third floor. I think it was the third. If I'm wrong, I apologize. It may have been the second, but I'm pretty sure it was the third floor. Old mill building from back in the frickin' 40s, when things were thriving with the mills and, Lawrence and Lowell and all the big towns. Buddy Latham, and at the time it was owned by another guy. I think, if I remember correctly, his name was John. He was a biker, because across the hall was a biker bar. In this old mill building, you'd go up these crickety old steps, and dusty, and it's concrete still, and the railing was barely on the wall, and you get to the third floor, and there's this big, huge metal red, I think it was red, but it was big metal door you had to slide to get open. Well, across the hall was a biker bar with pool tables and refrigerators full of beers. It was really crazy. So Buddy and this other particular individual owned the gym Steelworks, I'm sorry. And in the summer, it would get up to like 110 degrees in that place with the wood floors and the beams, and they had to open up they had big, huge windows, if you can visualize the mill buildings back in the day. and they would have to open them up, and you'd be drenched in sweat, like training like an animal, and it was awesome. There was some huge monsters in that place. And then, you know, it was my first experience, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. There was like monsters in there lifting and fucking throwing around the fucking iron. It was amazing. Well, anyway, we had a reunion. They had a reunion last evening for that. It's been over 30 years, right? So I was invited, all the people, and I remember every single person. I coming out of my basement at 18 years old, I was extremely introverted, a very introverted person to myself, and I was fine with that. I was fine being by myself. But for me, it was a big step to move in, to go into this next level and surround myself with other people, and it was a big deal for me. So they had a reunion, and I was invited, and I knew everybody that was gonna go, and I originally I was very kind of down on myself for it, but I just was not up for it mentally to go. Again, deep down, I'm a very introverted person, and I sometimes just don't want to be around people, and it's nothing personal. I just didn't feel like being around those people, even though I love those people. And I think of them like very close friends. I mean, been a few times in my life where I've attached myself to groups of people, and it wasn't easy, but I did. And you know, and this was one of those first times in my life. 18 years old. I then went into the military, and then I, of course, had to fuse myself in with a band of brothers. And when you're in the military, you have each other's backs, you know, so it's an important thing. But when I joined that gym, it was a big deal for me. So last night was a big deal, and of course it was for Buddy. It was an important thing because Buddy, you know, was a huge part of a lot of our lives, and I really love him for that. And I was feeling really bad that I didn't go. And they were all calling me. I saw it on my phone. I saw the missed calls. I saw the texts, and it just made me feel more and more bad. And my really, really close friend Ted, he was there, and I reached out to him later that evening, and I apologized. And I was honest. I said my head just wasn't into it. And they all know who I am, especially Ted. Ted knows how I am. I'm not going to go into it, but Ted knows how I am. So I guess the moral of today's story is that it's okay sometimes to not be out there socially. Like I'm very much appreciative and grateful for the people in my life, those particular people, and from that time frame, especially, you know, a long time ago, but I still love them all, and I'm just very grateful that they understand how I am, and they understand. But it's okay not to be social. I'm not very much in need to be social. I'm selectively social, if anything. You know, I work a lot. It's all I do is work, and I'm all right with that because I'm just trying to do the best I can in life, you know. But that's that. You know, just, you know, if you're one to, you know, like myself, that's to themselves a lot, it's okay to be like that. Don't feel bad about it. Be real, man. Be true. All right, I just want to say really quick, congratulations, Buddy. Love you. Thank you for everything you've done for us. You've made a difference in our lives, and thanks for getting me. All right. I gotta go. All right, have a great weekend. I'll see you guys very soon. Get to the gym.